mailbox, the mail is there, we're good to go.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to call to order our August 6, 2019 regular meeting of the Mason County Board of Commissioners. We begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Tom, if you wouldn't mind leading us today.
Thank you. Yes, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And moving on to item number 3, if the clerk would please take roll.
Commissioner, District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner, District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner, District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here.
Very good, thank you. Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Item 4.1, if the clerk would please report the correspondence.
Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent liquor applications for Allen Community Association at 18560 State Route 3 in Allen, Bulldog Boosters for an event at Lakeland Village Golf and Country Club at 200 East Old Ranch Road in Allen, and Long Live the Kings being held at Alderbrook Resort and Spa at 10 East Alderbrook Drive in Union. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board also sent notification of pending marijuana extraction operation. Washington Department of Natural Resources sent a county income report explanation of tables for July 2019. The United States Department of Interior Bureau of Indian Affairs sent notice of determination of application by the Skokomish Indian Tribe to acquire, in trust, a 4.98 acre tract on the Skokomish Indian Reservation. That same bureau also sent an amended notice of determination of application by the Skokomish Indian Tribe to acquire, in trust, that same 4.98 acre tract. Mason Conservation District submitted a Mason County Voluntary Stewardship Program report. That is all.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to item 4.2, we have a Highland Road project update. Ask staff to come forward.
Thank you, Commissioner Schutte. Good morning, Commission. Resolution number 4614 authorized the chair to sign all pertinent documents for County Road Project number 1994 Highland Road. Under the authority of that resolution, an agreement has been signed between private property owners and Mason County to allow mail carrier access on the emergency route to deliver mail on the south end of the Highland Road closure. Residents south of milepost 1.47 on Highland Road will no longer have mail held at the Shelton Post Office for mail pickup. This is slated to start tomorrow, so hopefully everything goes right and that happens. And we thank the property owners and the post office for working with us on the issues, and the residents of Highland Road for their patience while this matter is resolved.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Just real quick, if you could just maybe give us a snapshot of where we are in the project and
Yes.
progress-wise.
So yesterday, the first piece of the pipe went into the ground. So it's a 17-foot culvert. It has over 5,000 bolts, so that was a big deal. They ran into some groundwater, so we had to over excavate. So we are a little behind schedule, but they brought in a larger piece of equipment, and we're hoping that can help us to catch up a little bit. And we had in the paper before September 6th, so we're still aiming for that, and we'll bring an update if anything doesn't work out for before that date.
Perfect, thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, item number 4.3, a news release on the 2019 United Way Day of Caring Free Dump Day.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Before I get going on this, I just also want to thank and appreciate our county engineer. She's really gone to bat to work this mail delivery challenge, and I'm very appreciative of Diane's work on that. Okay, United Way Day of Caring Free Dump Day 2019. In partnership with Mason County Public Works and Republic Services, United Way of Mason County will be handing out vouchers for the final Mason County Free Dump Day of this year. Vouchers will be handed out to 300 Mason County residents on a first-come, first-served basis to be redeemable on September 6th, 2019 at the Mason County Landfill at 501 East Eels Hill Road, Shelton, Washington. Starting August 1st, 2019, vouchers will be available Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the United Way of Mason County's office, located at 536 West Railroad Avenue, Shelton, Washington. To receive a voucher, you must fill out the required paperwork, have a valid ID, and proof of Mason County address. Vouchers will cover 1,000 pounds of household garbage, tires, and appliances. Anything over will be charged to the customer. For any questions, please contact United Way of Mason County at 360-426-4999. And for rules and restrictions for household garbage, 360-427-5271. More information regarding the voucher process and items covered and not covered by the voucher is available on the Mason County Utilities and Waste Management Solid Waste webpage. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Moving on to item number 5, open forum for citizen input. It's an opportunity for members of the public to address the commission on items not on today's agenda. If a member of the public has an item that is not on today's agenda that they'd like to discuss, raise your hand. The chair will recognize you. Come forward, state your name, and make your comments. Tom.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Davis. I just want to make a couple of quick comments on the Highland Road closure, and also to commend Diane for going up and above normal operations of a project engineer when it comes to getting mail delivery from the federal government. It's important that when we stand here and complain about something, that if those issues are resolved, that we come here and recognize the efforts that it took to resolve those issues, so something positive comes out of something negative. And your point, Commissioner Netherland, is well taken along those lines. I'm not one to offer congratulations for non-performance, but I'd like to think that I am very amenable to offering congratulations for people who do think beyond the box in ways that help the quality of our life here in Mason County and show consideration for the public, and that has happened. And another good thing that's happened out of this particular issue is that I've noticed that the signs that for not only this project but other projects are more informational, have contact numbers who to call, are put up well in advance of the closure or the proposed closure of roads. So something good has happened here in the communications between what has to be done and the people who have to be inconvenienced is more or less seamless, as good as it's going to get. So I thank you for that.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, adoption of today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move for adoption of today's agenda as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt today's agenda as presented. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Moving on to item number 7, approval of minutes. There are July 22nd and July 29th, 2019 briefing minutes and July 23rd, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the minutes for July 22nd and July 29 briefing minutes and July 23rd, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
I will second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the July 22nd and July 29th, 2019 briefing minutes and the July 23rd, 2019 regular meeting minutes as presented. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Moving on to item number 8, this is approval of our action agenda. Commissioners will read through the items on today's action agenda, at which time a commissioner or member of the public may ask to have an item removed for a separate discussion and vote. Commissioner Netherland, if you'd please take items 8.1 through 8.4, Commissioner Trask 8.5 through 8.8, and I'll read the remainder.
Be happy to, Mr. Chairman. Item number 8.1, approval to sign a resolution adopting the financial reserve and contingency policy replacing number 58, resolution number 58-17. Item number 8.2, approval of warrants and treasurer's electronic remittances. Claims Clearing Fund warrants number 8065796 through 8066062 for the amount of $916,464.73. Direct Deposit Fund warrants numbers 60654 through 61045, the amount $740,799.54. Salary Clearing Fund warrants number 7004571 through 7004598, the amount $525,431.19. Item number 8.3 reads, approval to execute the resolution to close Deegan Road to perform culvert replacement work at milepost 2.35 beginning Monday, August 19th, 2019, and reopening prior to September 30th, 2019. Item number 8.4, approval of the interlocal agreement with the Skokomish Indian Tribe authorizing services provided by the Public Works Department for vehicle, road, or site maintenance, engineering, survey, GIS, emergency assistance, sign fabrication, fueling, and material supplies.
Item 8.5, approval to rescind the interlocal agreement between the City of Bremerton and Mason County entered into July 29th, 2018, and approval to authorize the chair to execute the updated interlocal agreement between Mason County, Port of Bremerton, and City of Bremerton related to participation in the executive and technical committees providing project design oversight to the Puget Sound Industrial Center, PCIS, to Belfair Sewer Connection Project. Item 8.6, approval of the following in regards to the Skokomish Project Partnership Agreement. 1, approval to have the chair sign the certification regarding lobbying. 2, approval to have the prosecutor sign the certificate of authority. 3, approval to have the support services director sign the self-certification of financial capability. Item 8.7, approval to set a hearing on Tuesday, August 27th, 2019 at 6:15 to consider 2 rezone requests for adjacent parcels in the Taylortown Rural Activity Center, RAC. Item 8.8, approval to change barge line 514.24.510100 from chief appraiser, non-represented, to appraiser analyst, Teamsters, as per the 2019 contract. Also, approval to pay Tom Gibbons for an out-of-class analyst position for 2 to 3 months.
Item 8.9, approval to set a hearing on Tuesday, August 20th, 2019 at 9:15 a.m. to consider revisions to Mason County Code Chapter 2.51, Special Event Camping Policy for Foothills Park, Truman Glick Park, and Walker Park, as well as revisions to Chapter 9.44, County-Owned Real Property, including parks and property held in trust. Item 8.10, approval of contract number K2827 between Washington State Department of Agriculture and Mason County Noxious Weed Control Board for a project to control invasive knotweed within the riparian corridors of Mason County. This contract is good from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2021. And item 8.11, approval of consolidated contract number CLH 18253, Amendment 9 between the Washington State Department of Health and Mason County Health. Having read through the items on today's action agenda, Commissioners, are there any items you'd like to have removed for a separate discussion and vote? Any members of the public would they to have an item removed for a separate discussion or vote? Tom.
Mr. Chair, 8.1, please, for a question.
Okay, we will remove item 8.1 for a separate discussion and vote. Any other items to be removed? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the action agenda by removing item 8.1.
I would second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the action agenda as presented with the exception of item 8.1, which is removed for a separate discussion and vote. Any additional discussion on the motion?
Just a couple of pats on the back. I want to thank our staff for all the work they did with adjusting the code and getting in front of an issue before it actually happens to us in regards to some of the people staying on those properties and stuff. And I also wanted to make note that, again, we have Pat Grover sitting here in the audience, who you always have to give her some props because she finds a way to do so much with so little that it cannot go without being said every time she's in the room. If you knew the little amount of money that she uses to do all these things, you'd be shocked. But it is what it is. Thank you for what you do.
Very good. Any other discussion? Just for me, I want to point out one thing in particular, item 8.6, our approval of the Skokomish Project Partnership Agreement. This is the next step of many, many steps that staff has been working on in order to get the project in the Skokomish Valley moving. This would, it's a habitat restoration project that also has multiple benefits for the folks that are impacted by flooding in the Skokomish Valley every year. And so there's a lot of work that's happening between the county and our other project partners, which is the Army Corps of Engineers and Skokomish Indian Tribe. And my hat's off to Loretta and her staff for continuing to move this forward. We had a major federal contribution come to us last year, and there's a lot that comes along with that, and it takes quite a bit of effort on our partners' parts, and so just happy to see this continue moving forward. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Takes us to item 8.1, approval to sign a resolution adopting the financial reserve and contingency policy replacing resolution number 58-17. Ask staff to come forward and brief.
Hi, Commissioners. So this resolution is replacing 5817, and we've just added a few items to that, different funds, expanding from the general fund and into some of our special funds and other funds, just to ensure that we have enough operating reserves. So is there any other questions on this policy?
Commissioners, any questions? Okay.
Yeah, I have a question about the overall impact of taking monies out of the general funds and siloing them for particular projects, and how that's going to impact the general fund and services that are normally funded by the general fund. Because it seems like there's about 5 different categories that are segregated out at this point.
Okay, so the intent of this is to ensure that we have those monies segregated for those purposes.
But there's a forced impact to the general fund. And I just wondered if that was going to have any effect on services that are normally provided by or funded by the general fund. If you take more money out of the general fund, you have less money to provide those services.
Right. I don't see any impact to the regular services at this time.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, hearing none, we'll move to public comment. If there's a public comment on item 8.1, raise your hand, come forward, make a comment. Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment period and move to commissioner deliberation or motion.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval to sign a resolution adopting the financial reserve and contingency policy replacing resolution number 58-17.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item 8.1, which is approval to sign a resolution adopting the financial reserve and contingency policy replacing resolution number 58-17. Any additional discussion?
I would like to answer to the question. The actual impact it has, by putting the reserves aside that we're doing, we're having no impact on the general fund disbursements as we have them set now. It just means there's less money to work with in this next year to adopt new programs. But at the same time, as you remember, a few years ago, we had that low revenue bump that really hurt us. And during that process, we got down to a point where we had $175,000 in the bank to cover the checks. At the end of the year, we still had our reserves all that showed up of the $3 million, but didn't have it during the middle of the year. Now we're setting it up so we can have it during the year. But more than that, for these other programs, we're making sure when the blip happens again, if it happens to go longer or have a greater impact, that the monies will be there to handle our obligations, not just our regular form of business for several months, but also the obligations on those projects for those several months. But there is an impact to the point to where there will not be more money to disperse at this time, but I think we're being frugal and wise by doing it this way. There will be no cuts because of it. That I can assure you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Just a quick word of thanks to staff in our budget department as well as the treasurer and auditor's office. This is first vetted and approved by the county's finance committee, which is made up of the treasurer, auditor, and the chair of the commission. And so we had a fairly robust conversation about this and potential impacts and weighing out what our ability to pay for the current services we would have if there were an economic downturn. So this is I think a good step forward, builds upon previous efforts that this commission has taken to protect the county finances, in the event of a downturn or any kind of an emergency that may happen. And so this is certainly I think a really good step forward. And if you read through the policy, we do give ourselves flexibility to reach these reserve goals over a period of time, and so we still have some flexibility to determine the level of the reserve at this new level versus potential spending on requests that come in throughout the regular budget process. So we're able to still have some flexibility to invest in programs that we think are important for the community and that offices may bring forward in the budget process, but this is also gives us an eye towards the future and making sure that we have a healthy balance so that we can continue to maintain our services as they are. So appreciate all the work on that. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Moves us on to item number 9, other business. Any department heads or elected officials that would like to address the commission? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 10.1. We have a public hearing to consider the sale of parcel 61902-50-00003 on West Salmonberry Drive, Elma, in the amount of $5,000, and ask staff to come forward and brief.
Thank you, Commissioners. This is a hearing to consider the sale of parcel number 61902-50-00003 on West Salmonberry Drive in Elma for the amount of $5,000. This parcel is tax title and was deeded to Mason County on February 22nd, 2017. An attempt to sell the property was made in the 2018 tax title auction with no interested bidders. RCW 36.35.150 subsection 1D allows this parcel to be sold by direct negotiation within 12 months of the attempted auction.
Okay, very good. Any questions, commissioners, for staff? Any questions for the public from the public for staff? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into public comment. Oh, Cheryl, sorry.
Well, okay, so I was just wondering, this is gonna be like really good for this policy and for this other policy and for a bunch of other ones. Could we get like a big map put up in here that you could go like, okay, Salmonberry is right here, so we can kind of figure out what we're talking about?
We can in the future.
That'd
Sure.
be great, okay.
Yeah, there is a feature that we have using GIS that can, we can put it on the screen and kind of identify it.
Or just like a map to just sit up here, that way we don't have to worry about,
Yep.
that.
Not a problem.
Okay. Cal? Sure.
Is there a reason why this has not been sold before? Is it the location, is it not?
There's no specific reason. When we had the tax title auction last year, I believe we had like 50 parcels that we were selling. We sold a great majority of those. I don't know why this one would not have been sold specifically.
All right.
Okay, any other questions for staff? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into public comment. Again, if you'd like to make public comment, raise your hand, Chair will recognize you, come forward, make your comment. Any public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public comment portion and move into commissioner deliberation and or motion.
Just some clarification. I'm trying to get there in time, but I couldn't get to it in time. I do know that we looked at the question when we were going through our briefings, and one of the things when we switched over to selling through real estate agents, we know we have a much clearer way of doing things now because we also can tell by how much time that it gets listed on the actual value. I'm pretty sure this one was 69 days, or I think is what it was, that this one was listed with a realtor before we did it, because that page is missing in mine. It could have been 120. One of them, there was a difference between the two. But either way, if it's not on the market for only a week and then disappear, they come in with an offer, then you know that it's going through a public process where people have an access to it, the ability to purchase on. They can also get into a bidding war, which we've done on a few of these parcels, we've set a bidding war up and we're able to get even more money off of them. But by going through this public process, it guarantees that you're actually getting an arm's length transaction and getting the value that it actually should go for on the open market.
Okay, any other deliberation or motion?
Oh, sorry. Mr. Chair,
No apologies needed.
I move that, glasses here. I move that we sell parcel number 61902-50-00003 on West Salmonberry Drive, Elma, for the amount of $5,000.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the sale of parcel number 61902-50-00003 on West Salmonberry Drive in Elma in the amount of $5,000. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. Moving on to item number 11, our board reports and calendar. Commissioner Trask, if you go get us started, I'll go second, and Commissioner Nevin, you can wrap it up.
All right, so today I have a webinar regarding a House bill. Tomorrow I have lunch with a constituent. Thursday, it's going to be business after hours at the Cameo Boutique in Union. Friday, I'm meeting with constituents, and then there's also a celebration of life that we're going to attend later that evening. Saturday is the Taste of Hood Canal. We'll be working a booth with the North Mason Chamber. And then we're back to Monday for county briefings.
Okay, thank you. Looking back to last week, I do want to talk about one thing in particular. Folks are probably familiar with the Union Bank fire that occurred out in Union, just off of State Route 106. And it was an incredible response by folks in the community, as well as our regional partners with DNR. And then, of course, we had about 112 firefighters on scene between DNR, Thurston and Kitsap County sent strike teams, as well as local fire districts here in Mason County. And so I want to especially thank Chief Volk from Fire District 6 and Chief McKern from Central Mason Fire, who ran the incident and were the incident commanders for us in the county. But I also want to note how our community responded to the 30 homes and families that were evacuated as a precaution during the fire. And so Alderbrook Resort opened their doors and opened up rooms to folks that were displaced. Alderbrook Golf Course opened their clubhouse to people to use throughout the night for coffee or bathroom or Wi-Fi, or just a place to spend time as they were awaiting their fire to be contained, as well as the New Community Church of Union, who opened their doors up for folks to spend the night there as well. And I think it was a dangerous situation that our firefighters and community responded to very well. We're very fortunate that it wasn't worse. Their hard work made sure that we were able to contain the fire. But I think it serves as a reminder that for a lot of folks, we often think about wildfires being an Eastern Washington issue. But certainly we see this this year with the Union Bank fire, last year with the Maple fire. It certainly does impact and affect folks in Western Washington. And so I encourage you to do everything you can to be prepared for these kinds of situations. The EDC and our partners in the fire districts throughout the county last month hosted the preparedness meetings. I encourage you to take a watch. I know, I believe, Diedrich, you still have those videos available for people to watch. Be prepared. Be prepared. It could happen even here in Western Washington. Going forward this week, I have a meeting with the EDC. I'll also be meeting with the new superintendent of Hood Canal School, Nikki Cannon. Have a meeting with the Alliance for a Healthy South Sound, as well as a meeting with Scott Brewer from the Hood Canal Coordinating Council. And I believe we have a meeting with, is the Army Corps meeting still happening on Thursday at the Grange?
Yes.
Okay, so that as well. And then back Monday for briefings. Commissioner?
Okay, got a new phone, so everything's changed on me. So, TipCap did an event in Belfair. We had our briefings, YR 15 meeting. EDC membership meeting, of which we both attended, so we were both there, but we conducted no business. Lakeland had a concert. I went to the Department of Transportation Olympia to go over and look at the new signs that are coming up. We're finally getting the signs out there in Belfair to show the construction of the Belfair bypass, that it is happening. For everybody out there that thinks that it wasn't happening, it was all just a rumor, the signs are going up. They should be going up this week, actually. And it's pretty exciting that's happening. The Port of Allen meeting, cemetery, Shelton Cemetery Board meeting, and others. Then I have a meeting with a constituent right after this, an ARC meeting, EDC. I'm being deposed. I also will be attending a funeral. I don't think anybody else here would be doing it, but very special man from our community. His name was Wayne Foster. He was a logger and everything out here, but he's most known for when he lived out here as being an ex-Oakland Raider defensive lineman. He worked for me for many years, and he had the honor of being the very first $10,000 a year contract in the NFL. Can you imagine that? $10,000 a year.
Even adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, it's just crazy, but he was the first.
Medical benefits.
Yeah, no, they had nothing, actually. That's funny because they had nothing. So with that, I also attended the anniversary, of Allen. Allen celebrated their 130th birthday. It was a wonderful event. They had the fire dancers, they had the whole 9 yards. But it was interesting. It reminded me of something from many years ago. We were having an issue with the county in regards to right-of-ways and stuff. So I ended up doing a bunch of research, and one of the things that I read was the newspapers from Allen in the 1800s. And it's really interesting how although things change, they stay the same. Back in those days, Allen was the big town for that whole region out there. Belfair was named Clifton. It was just a little tiny spot and hardly even existed. The big event, of course, was that the railroad was almost to Allen. And all transportation back then was by mosquito fleet. There were little docks all over the place. Grapeview had them and stuff. And they could get to Seattle in a day. Other than that, it could take them up to 2 weeks to travel the long way around to get to Seattle. But the funny thing is looking at some of the battles that they had and how the North Mason at the time felt they were not getting their part of what the county should have, and they were not getting the representation, and they were trying to secede from Mason County to start their own county, and Allen was going to be the county seat. It's just so funny when you read through all these things, you think, wow, it's the same after all these years. So with that being said, happy birthday, Allen, 130 years. Belfair, although they were around at the same time, they weren't, they changed their name in like 1915 to Belfair from Clifton. Because there was already another Clifton in the state, and the mail was having an issue getting to the right place. So they named it Belfair, who the postal, the head of the post office out here had read the name in a book, and it was a favorite name, so that's how it became Belfair. And that brings us back to doing the briefings, and we start all over again. How's that?
All right. Very good. Thank you. If there's no other business to come before the commission, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second.
We're adjourned. Have a good day, everybody.